Hi, everybody. I am Mitch English.
I'm Andrea Jackson. This is Daily Flash, today's trends, tomorrow's talk.
Hope
How
you
about
are having
that?
glad to be here next to you,
Yes,
and we're
love-
glad to have those folks right there. We're talking about you
Yeah.
here at our show. We have got a great one for you. In the big in sports news already last week, everybody been talking about this. Charlie Hustle back in the MLB.
Yeah.
Maddie just told me about this. I was like, holy cow, are you serious?
yes.
How big of a story that is. Pete Rose.
Pete Rose,
Yes.
it's a big deal because, I mean, I feel bad for him that they had to wait till he was dead because now they're like, oh, we don't let anybody alive back in. So they purposely waited till he's been dead.
They did. They
Yes.
purposely, yeah.
Shoeless Joe Jackson is part of this whole thing,
And you
too.
know what? That is the biggest thing. They threw games, all right? Pete Rose just bet on his own team.
Yeah.
Pete Rose never bet against
That's
his
right.
team. And Pete Rose for years had to go do so many of these sad, cons and stuff and sit at a table and sign stuff off
Yeah.
because they wouldn't let him be a part of the baseball world. So he missed out on a lot of money and his pension and everything like that.
Well,
So-
wasn't Shoeless Joe Jackson part of Field of Dreams?
Yes.
That was his whole thing. About the Pete Rose thing, I am baffled by the whole deal, especially when you look at sports betting today.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
care what.
Right? Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, wait a second. So this was inappropriate how many years ago? And yet all we have now when it comes to sports coverage, betting. Sports talk, sports players
Sponsors it.
sponsors it. Sports players are talking about it. Team sponsor it. It's nuts to me.
Players are playing that were also betting as well, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
players
that's-
are.
it
They're
just-
always.
they know it.
They're always doing
Gambling.
that. Players aren't even supposed to be seen gambling in casinos, and there's
they
been
do.
multiple videos of that happening.
Can I tell you? I met Pete Rose. And,
allowed to be people.
no,
that?
you're not necessarily wrong. Like for some reason we put him on this pedestal.
Yeah.
So I met Pete Rose, and I don't ever like going up to celebrities.
Yeah.
But I was born a Reds fan because I was born in Kentucky and Cincinnati. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So I met Pete Rose. Guess where I met him?
At a bar.
Not at a bar. It was at an airport. But guess what city?
Cincinnati.
Not Cincinnati.
Dayton.
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas.
Where you do all the gambling, right? And I go, oh, he might not want me to go. So I went up to him and said, hey, man, hey, Mr. Rose, I just want to tell you, I remember when he left and went to Philadelphia for a little while, people at Cincinnati felt betrayed by that, But
Yeah.
he eventually came back, and he had a reality show for a little while. So you got to look. Did you ever watch it?
I didn't see it, but I remember
it
him
only was
doing
on like
it, yeah.
1 or 2 seasons on some small network or whatever. But you could see that he was really trying, saying,
Yeah.
"Look, this is not fair. Really, it isn't."
Right.
And trying to get on the side. And I agree. It sucks that they waited till he died.
I would say this: the rules are the rules. He knew better.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have went against the rules.
Yeah.
That's a
and
good
they
point.
made an example of
But
it.
they
They made an example of
They
it.
change all the time. When they
They
ran
change
down,
all
he's
the
right.
time, but
No, you're right.
but,
You're right.
You know, he had a mouth on him.
He did.
So they made an example of him.
Oh, he would do like clown show things outside of Reds games. I mean, he'd literally stand outside signing stuff.
He would meet jackasses in their airport and let them come up and
In
talk
Las
to them.
Vegas.
It just cracks me up that the sports writers are the ones that vote on the Hall of
Yeah.
Fame, and they're some of the worst people I've ever met
right,
in my
exactly,
life. And it's
right.
like, you're making that decision? I
that's a
never
great
found
point.
that right.
I think if Pete Rose was around today, I think it would have been all right. What a slap on the wrist and that sort of thing. It was also too the commissioner. He was hell bent. They got a new commissioner, obviously, and it was hell bent on making sure Pete Rose will never get back into this game. And everybody said, and Pete Rose even said, "I'll be in the Hall of Fame. I'll be going to Cooperstown.
Yeah.
But it's going to be after I die." And
Yeah.
that kind of stinks.
Yeah, it does kind of stink. But it's the selective outrage that I think is really frustrating because when you look at these situations, as you guys have mentioned, you've got these writers who don't have a squeaky clean
No. I've hung out with a few of
backstory.
them. Not so much.
And you're telling me that these sports writers don't place bets? And again, taking it back to the betting thing, and I get it, you're right, James. He knew better, he shouldn't have done it, but he did it. But in comparison to everything, it's just like, it's amazing to me, like the things that we stick on people and we refuse to forgive them, and then other things we're like, well, he can beat the girl, I don't care, we're moving on.
Yeah,
I'm like,
Yeah.
wait a second,
That's
what?
true.
Yeah.
But James brought a good point. Teaching a lesson,
Yes.
and the first person also gets the biggest penalty.
You're right.
And because I wonder if he would have been wasn't as celebrated and as vocal as he was. Maybe they might have let him in earlier,
Yeah.
but he was hell bent on I'm going to
Yeah.
be in there, and good for him.
I
I'm
guess
all
what
for it.
other choice do you have, when you're backed up against the wall like that? But the first guy through the door always gets it the hardest.